what the black man and woman needs to know about the nation, about the world, about themselves. Muhammad Speaks It. To order your 12-issue subscription to Muhammad Speaks newspaper, 313-371-7033. 313-371-7033.
Kareem Bean Pie is the grand champion of all bean pies. The rich flavor and smooth texture takes this pie to a whole new level of delicious. One bite and you'll understand why people all over the country call daily to order Kareem Bean Pie. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033. Kareem Bean Pie.
This bean pie is delicious.
Muhammad Speaks presents Messenger Elijah Muhammad's Teachings by Minister Khalil Shabazz every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. at Muhammad's Temple of Islam, 12609 East McNichols Road in Detroit.
Brother and sister, rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, soul masters, dear gentlemen, in which we now live. The alone that we serve, and the alone seek for thine heaven aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path of those upon whom thou spill thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he, Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none is earth to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. We'd like to acknowledge the brothers and sisters that extended us the greetings of Assalamu alaikum. We have Sister Hala Brooks of California. We have Captain Hakeem and the believers in Richmond. We have Brother Mustafa and Sister Sharice Ali of Ohio. We have Brother Daniel Shabazz of Arizona. And we have Brother Mikhail Shabazz of Arizona. I'd like to say in the name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, and in the name of his last and greatest messenger, the most honored Elijah Muhammad, I'd like to greet the brothers and sisters with the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. Today we'd like to talk about there is no God but Allah. This is a response to Officer Ethan. He made a video last week saying that there is no God named Allah. So because of that, I decided to make a response. In the video, he actually didn't even mention Allah at all. But he only used the video as clickbait. So we decided that we're going to give a response anyway. Because if they want to use us to get popular off, we can use them in the same way. So the first thing we want to look up, does the Bible say God will search for the lost sheep? That's the first thing we want to look up. Because the thing about it is, if we saying, or if he's saying, that there is no God named Allah, then we want to make God real for the black man. So the way we can make God real for the black man is we can show the prophecies in the Bible speaking of God coming to his people. So the first Google search that we want to use, it says, does the Bible say God will search for the lost sheep? It says yes. The Bible teaches that God actively searches for and seeks to save the lost sheep. That's very important. Because it don't just say that God will search for the lost sheep. It says that the Bible teaches that God actively searches. What does it mean to actively search? It says to actively search for something means to engage in conscious, deliberate efforts to find it, rather than passively waiting for it to appear. This is what the Bible prophesies that God would do. It didn't say that God would just search for the lost sheep. It says that God would actively search for the lost sheep. And when it says actively, it means to engage in conscious, deliberate efforts to find it, rather than passively waiting for it to appear. So when you have a true and living God, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us, he said that God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, July 4th, 1930. Master Farad Muhammad actively searched for the black man, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that God came himself. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that our condition is so bad that God had to come himself. He didn't leave it to a spirit. He didn't leave it to a spook. He came himself. And he came in person. But we want to drift off a little bit, because what most people will say is that the lost sheep is talking about Israel. Because in the Bible, it speaks of the black man and it speaks of the white man under the name Israel. This is what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us. He told us that under certain names, it's talking about the black man. Now let's give you an example of what is meant when you say under the name. We want to look up Bible unicorn verse. It says the term unicorn appears in some old English Bible translations, like the King James Version. But modern translations use wild ox or similar terms because the original Hebrew word re'em refers to a powerful single-horned wild ox, possibly an roach or rhinoceros, rather than the mythical creature. Some verses that mention unicorn in the King James Version are Psalms 22 and 21, Job 39 and 9 through 12, and Isaiah 34 and 7. So the Bible uses the word unicorn. We know that there's no such thing in reality as a unicorn. But when the white man wrote his Bible to hide the truth from the black man, he decided to use unicorn, even though there is no such thing as a unicorn. So since we know that there is no such thing as a unicorn, when the Bible uses the word unicorn, we understand that under the name unicorn, he's talking about a wild ox. But we know that he uses the word unicorn to speak about the wild ox. We understand that under the name dragon, the white man is talking about himself. Under the name serpent, the white man is talking about himself. Under the name lost sheep, the white man is talking about the black man. Under the name Lazarus, the white man is talking about the black man. Under the name Israel, the white man is talking about the black man and talking about the white man. Let's go on even further than that. Now it says, does the Bible say God will search for the lost sheep? It says yes. The Bible teaches that God actively searches for and seeks to save the lost sheep. Actively search for means to actively search for something means to engage in conscious, deliberate efforts to find it, rather than passively wait for it to appear. This involves taking direct action and being involved in the search process right now to locate something that is hidden or finding its whereabouts. So when we talking about Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, he actively was involved in searching for the lost sheep. Now, if this brother named Officer Ethan, if you say that there is no God named Allah, and we produce for you a God named Allah, to disprove it, you got to show us the God named the Most High, or the God named Yahweh, who actively searched for the black man. Because the scriptures say Allah is going to get involved himself. Not to just passively wait, like the Most High did. The Most High just sat around and passively waited for the black man to find out from Master Farad Muhammad that he the lost sheep. That's what the Most High did. He passively waited. He passively waited for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to reinterpret the Bible. He passively waited. He passively waited when the black Jew rejected Jesus and rejected the New Testament like all other Jews. The Most High, or Yahweh, passively sat by and he waited. But God came, just like it was prophesied and predicted that he would come, under the name of Jehovah, under the name of the Lord, under the name of the Most High. He was prophesied to come. But his real name is Master Farad Muhammad. So let's go on even further. It said key characteristics of actively searching. It says conscious effort. It says you are deliberately and intentionally trying to find something. That's what it means. That's one of the characteristics of actively searching. It says you deliberately, on purpose, trying to find it. But the Most High wasn't deliberate in trying to find the black man. We never heard of it. We never saw it. Nobody ever represented to us to tell us that the Most High didn't come. None of these Most High believe in Yahweh Shower dudes never told us that in this certain day, this certain year, Yahweh came to me and told me that we the lost sheep. He came from here to this place searching for us. And on this day he found us. but the messenger did. He constantly taught us that God came from the holy city of Mecca, Arabia, July 4th, 1930. He said he is the long-awaited Savior. He came seeking to save that which is lost. Messenger taught us before his coming, nobody ever came for us. You might say, well, Marcus Garvey, he came from Jamaica. Marcus Garvey was a so-called American Negro. Marcus Garvey was lost. Another lost person can't come to find another lost person. You have to take somebody who's not lost to come find a person who's lost. Because the messenger explains to us what it means to be lost. He didn't tell us that we lost from God because we strayed away. He didn't tell us that we lost from God because we committed sins. He didn't say we lost from God because we got a sinful nature. He said what lost means is the black man is lost from his own. That's what makes us lost. We are a people who had been kidnapped, taken from our own people, and robbed of a knowledge of self. That's what makes us lost. So here's another key characteristic of actively searching. It says direct action. You're taking specific steps to locate your target. Donald B. Elijah Muhammad taught us the specific steps that Master Farad Muhammad took to find us. He said Master Farad Muhammad came in and out of America for 20 years before he made himself known to us. He said Master Farad Muhammad visited every known civilization on the earth. That's what the messenger said. He took active steps in searching for the black man. The messenger said that Master Farad Muhammad studied for 42 years what it was he was going to teach us. That's an active step. Donald B. Elijah Muhammad made God real. He was teaching us how God searched for the lost sheep before we even knew. We never understood what search for means. We never understood that there's characteristics to search, to actively search. Because the white man taught us that God was a spook and a spirit. Omnipresent. An omnipresent spook cannot actively search. It takes a man to search. Let's go into another characteristic of actively searching. It says immediacy. The search is happening now, or is a current ongoing endeavor. That's what it means to search. Actively search. You're doing it right now. Ain't no actively searching and I'm doing it later. When you actively searching, you doing it right now. So the messenger taught us for 20 years. Master Farad Muhammad came in and out of America before he made himself known. Then he said he studied for 42 years what he was going to teach us. He actively searched. The messenger said that before Master Farad Muhammad was born, his father knew that he would not be successful in a solid white country as a solid black man. So his father, knowing this, he knew that he had to make himself a son, looking like the white man, but not being the white man. Looking like one of them. Yes. To actively search for the black man. If God was a spook and a spirit, Master Farad Muhammad's father wouldn't have had to worry about making a son. Because an omnipresent spook wouldn't have to search. But a God who's a human has to be born. A God who's a human has to learn. A God who's a human has to leave where he's at to actively search for his lost sheep. Then another characteristic, it says proactivity. You are pursuing what you're looking for rather than waiting for opportunities to find. The Most High waited for an opportunity. The Most High spook that old Officer Eaton believed in. He was a chicken-hearted guy. Chicken-hearted guys wait for an opportunity. The chicken-hearted spook God of the Israelites, he waited for an opportunity. He saw that Master Farad Muhammad came. He saw that Master Farad Muhammad raised a message. And he saw what Master Farad Muhammad taught his message. So the spook God that lives in non-reality sat back and waited. He waited for the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to tell us that the Bible has been tampered with and it must be reinterpreted so that mankind would not be snared by the falsehoods added to it. The Most High spook was like, wow, that makes sense. Because my spooky, scary, small hat niggas don't even believe in the Bible. They only believe in the Torah. But this Elijah Muhammad said that God told him that the Bible been tampered with and it must be reinterpreted so that these black people won't be snared by the falsehoods added to it. Because the Most High spook that lives in non-reality understood that the white man used words like unicorn. He used words like dragon. He used words like serpent. The black man thought when he read the Bible, he heard the Bible read to him. He thought that when it said serpent, it meant serpent. He thought that when it said dragon, it meant dragon. He thought that when it said unicorn, it meant unicorn. But God came, actively searched for us, and he raised a messenger that told us that it's been falsehood added to it. A unicorn is falsehood. Unicorns don't exist. So the white man, to hide the truth, uses that word. To hide the truth of a wild ox with one horn. So if he had hide the truth about a wild ox with one horn, what make you think the white man won't hide the truth about God's people? If the white man has to hide the truth about himself, he most certainly can't tell you the truth about yourself. That's right. It was the messenger who said, if they won't treat you right, then they won't teach you right. So the Most High spook was listening to the message. Messenger telling the black man that it's been lies added to the Bible. He said the Bible is all good if you understand. Unicorn is all right if you understand it mean wild ox. Serpent is all right if you know it mean the white man. Dragon all right if you know it mean the white man. Lost sheep is all right if you know it means the black man. But it ain't all right if you don't know what it means. Because when you don't know what it means, Whoever wrote it is hiding the truth from you. Because if you put unicorn and it really means ox, and you don't tell them it means ox, that's hiding the truth. If you put serpent and it really mean the white man, but you don't tell them it mean the white man, you hiding the truth. But if you put serpent and the white man was reading and it was a serpent in the garden, and he said, this is written in poetic language. When my father's the white man wrote it, he didn't really mean that it's a serpent talking in the garden. It's talking about us. That ain't hiding the truth. But the messenger said, talking about the white man, he said the white man wasn't made to teach us the truth. He said the white man is a liar by nature. He said when the white man first got his hands on the divine truth, he started tampering with it. The white scholar know that Hebrew means some other word that mean wild ox, but he'll put unicorn. Let's go on any further than that. It says examples of actively searching. It says for a job. You might be applying to job postings, networking, attending job fairs, or directly contacting recruiters and hiring managers. That means you actively looking for a job. Now, a black woman who got a lazy black man, and he say, I'm looking for a job. He said, yeah, I just put in my application. No, he just filled it out online and he just put in the application. Then you come home from work another day. Say, yeah, I'm looking for a job. I put in another application. Do you think he's looking for a job? No. But if you got a black man who got fired, you come home and say, yeah, I'm looking for a job. I went to this recruiter. I'm networking. I'm doing all it. He actively looking for a job. Two totally different things. Master Farah Muhammad, God in person, he actively came looking for the black man. That's what the Bible said. That God was supposed to do. Search for his sheep. Let's go on any further than that. Another example of actively searching. It says for a lost item. It says instead of just hoping to find it, you are thoroughly checking specific locations where it might be hidden. Master Farah Muhammad, actively going to India, going to Mexico, coming to North America, then coming in and out for 20 years. I gotta make sure these the lost sheep that I'm looking for. That was Master Farah Muhammad. We never even really understood what the messenger was telling us. We would sit there and listen to the messenger talk on Buzz Anderson. To us being spook worshipers, we think he sound crazy. I remember my first time listening to the messenger on Buzz Anderson. I love the messenger. I always had a certain kind of respect for him, even before I really understood he was the messenger. But when I would listen to him say that Master Farah Muhammad learned, I didn't feel like he was lying, but I just didn't understand what he was saying. But he God though. Then the messenger say that Master Farah Muhammad come in and out of America for 20 years. He said he went to California University, lived with a white family. And I'm thinking, but I thought you said he God. We don't understand God. Because the Bible needs to be reinterpreted. We think God a spook. We think God a spirit. But we don't understand that God is one of us. We don't understand that we direct descendants from God. So we think of an immaterial, non-existent spook. So when the messenger making God real, it sounds crazy. But when you understand or had the Bible reinterpreted for you, and you actually look up the words, like the messenger taught us to. He said, look at the word. Lay hold to the word. If it's the truth, lay hold to it. That's what he taught us to do. He said, don't believe in nothing on face value. Check it. Go look up the word. See what the word means. So when you go look up what God meant when he said he was going to search for the lost sheep, you see it can't be nothing other than a man. Now let's go on any further than that. Because we always got to clear up Google. Because Google ain't always right. But it'll point you in the right direction. It says, does Bible say God will search for lost sheep? It says yes. The Bible teaches that God actively searches for and seeks to save lost sheep, referring to people who have strayed from God or are lost in sin. That's not true. This is how the white man weasels in the Israelite. Because the Israelites are sinful by nature. The Israelites strayed away from God. That's why they the enemies of God. The messenger said that the white race are wicked by nature. He said God never sent a prophet to teach them. He just sent them to warn. Because God understands that the white man has an evil and wicked nature. He a liar by nature. He wasn't made to submit to Allah. So what Allah has done for him is to give him a warning. Just so the white man won't have an excuse. That's Allah. He say, I ain't gonna teach you, but I'm still just. So I'm gonna give you a warning that's gonna tell you if you don't get it together, you're gonna be destroyed in about 1,400 more years. Come back to him again. This time they mad when the next prophet comes. They're like, there go the prophet. We about to persecute. We about to chase them from city to city. So the prophet got to tell them on the run, you only got about 500 more years to go. That's the Israelite. From the first prophet they got named Moses all the way down to the last one named Jesus. They never accepted. They made a conscious effort to reject the prophet. They made a conscious effort to add lies to what the prophet said. So Allah ain't no fool. He know they a race of death, but he the most merciful. He the beneficent. So he say, I'm still gonna show the devil mercy. Because when I destroy them, the whole world gonna see he gave you a chance. Yes. He gave you the same chance he given the righteous. But he know he ain't bringing them to teach you. He just warned. So the messenger said Allah raises up messengers for the righteous. But they acted something different for the righteous. They come to teach the righteous and warn. Because the righteous have been made wicked by the white race. We like filth and indecency. So he said instead of just warning us, Allah also offers to us our own. Because being righteous is our own. Islam is our own. It's not something foreign to us. It's not something that we fight against by nature. We fighting against it because we lost. And we've been lost for 400 years. So we fight against what's right. It's right for a black man to be a father. But we like filth and indecency. We like having all kind of women. We like the fact we can just go to the abortion clinic. We like the fact we can be with white women if we want to. We like the fact we can go to a strip club. So being a father is right. Being a husband, right. But we fight against it. By nature, we know it's right. But we've been in the hands of an enemy. So now we hate the truth. Just like the white man. So Allah being just to the white man, he also being just to us. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to send you a water. Just like I've been sending the white man. But I'm going to make this water for you somebody who going to teach you. Somebody who going to show you step by step. Somebody who going to make the truth so plain, even the dumbest one of you can't have. The dumbest one. Because all you niggas is dumb. But it's niggas who dumber than other niggas. It's the dumbest nigga. That's why our city's in such a condition. We already dumb. But we got to live among the dumbest niggas. The niggas who will hear the truth and fight against it. IUIC represents the dumbest niggas in the black community. A nigga who would take the truth and add it to falsehood. These are the dumbest niggas. So Allah raised up a messenger that the smartest dumb nigga on down to the dumbest, he said won't be able to err. That's how plain he make the truth. So let's go on any further than that. It says key biblical passages. It says Ezekiel 34, 11 through 16. It says God declares, behold, I myself will search for my sheep and will seek them out. I myself will be the shepherd of my sheep, and I myself will make them lie down, declares the Lord God. That's what God said he was going to do. He did it in the name of Master Farah Muhammad. But in the Bible it say he was speaking to all Israel. Just like some spots that talk about a unicorn. We got to understand, like the messenger said, we not mentioned under our name. Nobody in the Bible is mentioned under, oxes ain't even mentioned under their name. White man can't even call a wild ox a wild ox. White man can't call the black man the black man. He can't call himself the white man. He got to put little symbolic words. I saw a dragon with 5 heads. What the black man know about that? I seen a lamb with 7 horns. What lamb you done seen with 7 horns? What that mean? Messages say it's all right if you understand, but when you don't understand. He said the Bible is like a rattlesnake. That's why the messenger said that God said the Bible is a poison book. Yeah. It poisons the minds and the hearts of the black man. So God says in Ezekiel that he was going to come himself. The God in Ezekiel didn't represent himself as a spirit. He didn't represent himself as a spook. He represented himself as a man. He said, I myself will come to search for them. Only person we know that came to search for the black man is Master Farah Muhammad. Let's go on any further than that. It says Luke 15, 3 through 7. Jesus tells the parable of a shepherd who leaves his flock to find a single lost sheep. Upon finding it, he rejoices and carries it on his shoulder, celebrating what with his friends. We never known nobody to come and be so excited to find a black man than Master Farad Muhammad. He was excited. He was so excited he gave us all these teachings that last us 95 years. That's how excited he was. He was so excited that he found a black man, he could teach us a teaching that we could quit alcohol cold turkey. Yes. We could quit drugs cold turkey. He was so excited he gave the messenger a teaching so strong he can go into the prisons and get the worst of the worst. That's how excited Allah was. I finally found him. I'm going to give them something that's going to help them all if they only accept it. Master Farad Muhammad was the one that put the black man on his shoulders. How did he put us on his shoulders? He gave us a messenger. He didn't just leave us. He put us on his shoulders. He said, I ain't leaving these people. I'm going to give them something that's going to last them till the hereafter. Put us on his shoulder and like he carried us. Yes. Master Farad Muhammad still carries us. Yes. Those of us who believe we can sit and feel ourselves riding on his shoulders. Yes, messengers say, I stick close to Allah, so you stick close to me. So Master Farad Muhammad still got us on his shoulders. Them niggas IUIC, they see us on Allah's show. That's why they never respond. All the hypocrites see us on Allah's shoulders. Yes, sir. When Allah put you on his shoulder, can't nobody knock you off. They just act like they don't hear you. But when you on Allah's shoulders, messengers say you got the better weapon. He say you go looking for an attack. This video that I found of this nigga, it wasn't something that just, I go look for him every week. I go look for a nigga who talk against the message. Look for the nigga. It's a preacher I seen this morning I'm talking about next week. Found another nigga. Looking for God Logic. Looking for Tazaria. Look for all these other niggas. Look for Bishop. Look for Farrakhan. Listen to the hypocrite, then come back and tell the world.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Master Farad Muhammad put us on his shoulders. When we on his shoulders, can't nobody knock us off but ourselves. So let's go on even further with the message. Now we're going to talk about the coming of Allah. Because Allah didn't just come. He raised the messenger. That's one of the most beautiful things we got in our faith. We can't just tell a nigga Israelite that God came. No, he ain't just come. He raised the messenger for us. We can also tell these niggas, show us your God, which the nigga can't do. So we can cut the nigga some slack. We can tell this nigga, Officer Ethan, okay, nigga, you can't show us the spook. You can't show us how this spook done search for the black man. So, nigga, show us who the spook chose. That's us showing these chump niggas some mercy. Show us who this coward spook who sat passively by and listen to the message. Who this coward chump spook choose. Nigga can't tell us the spook chose Bishop Nathan. Because if the nigga want to say that, then we can say, all right, what happens when we compare the messenger to your chosen nigga bishop? Right. What happens then? Because if you want to just pull straws, Nigga can't really say nobody. Oh, Bishop Nathaniel. Okay, let's compare Bishop Nathaniel to the messenger. Name for us a disciple of Bishop Nathaniel. Because that's the thing about Allah. Messengers say Allah is like a hot fire. He said he'll burn you up. The messenger was a fire. All his ministers was fires. Messengers say my ministers is like a ball of fire. So when Allah gave the messenger the fire, the messenger was a ball of fire. When the messenger gave that ball of fire to a minister, they was a ball of fire. So if you can't show us the spook, and now you show us this nigga, show us who this nigga gave that ball of fire to. Name one of them niggas who is as influential to the black man as Malcolm X. The reason why I love using Malcolm is because he turned hypocrite. That's why I like using him. Because that hypocrite, you can show the people the before and after. That's right. You can show the people when that nigga was Detroit Red. When he was Detroit Red, he looked like Bishop. He was a savage nigga in the mud. Dirty nigga. Nigga used to conk his hair. He looked like Bishop. Then when he accepted the teachings of the messenger, he started looking like the messenger. Clean shaven. He started shining. Every word he said shine in the mind of the black man. To now 50 years later, you still sharing Malcolm. Because when you niggas share Malcolm and don't say nothing about the messenger, you still talking about the messenger. Because he taught Malcolm. We can see Malcolm when he didn't know nothing about the messenger. Because the messenger or Malcolm didn't help the messenger at all. God told the messenger after he taught him. He said, me and you get the keys. What's the keys? His teachings. Messenger said his keys that Master Farad Muhammad taught him is a key to a rusty lock. The black man's mind is a rusty lock. Yes. And he said Master Farad Muhammad gave him 17 million keys for the 17 million rusty locks. So Master Farad Muhammad told the messenger, he said, you get them 17 million keys and me and you go. Because I did my job. I let it be known this truth is so plain that anybody who hears it can accept it and understand. Because the messenger, I like saying it because he said it. He was like, I was dumb. And the thing I like about the messenger, he knew he was dumb. When you listen to the messenger talk about how Master Farad Muhammad made his choice, the messenger don't seem like he expected Master Farad Muhammad to choose him. He seemed like he was just happy to be in the room. He seemed like he was just sitting around like, I wonder who gonna be the messenger. Don't seem like he was even really caring. Like, I just happy that I see God. So the messenger said that all of them was sitting in the room. And Allah said, I want all of y'all to choose who you think should be my supreme minister. So everybody got to choose. So Master Farad Muhammad let him like, all right, who you choose? Then, well, I think it should be him. Or I think it should be Malcolm. There was some Malcolm niggas in there, nigga who can talk real good. I think it should be Malcolm Little. Oh, another one, I think it should be Farrakhan. He a calypso singing nigga. He look how he done cleaned up. That nigga, he talk pretty good. Somebody else, I think it should be Muhammad Ali. Nigga can fight real good. He might be able to represent you. Master Farad Muhammad let him choose. He said, no. Since you done made your choice, now I'ma choose. I choose Elijah Kareem. Then Malcolm X stood up and said, oh, he got his secretary that he been sleeping with. Why are you choosing him? Muhammad Ali stand up and say, oh, well, what he teaching, that's for the olden days. We in the modern time now. The hypocrite Farrakhan stand up and say, I know I can do it better. I can take what he talking about and I can put it in my way and I can do it better than him. As far as Muhammad said, no, I choose Elijah Kareem.
Yes, sir.
Messengers say hypocrites say what they always say. That's what the messenger said. So the hypocrites of Master Farad Muhammad was saying the same thing about the messenger that hypocrites now say. He said they used the same words. So Master Farad Muhammad came, chose a messenger. He chose one of the 17 millions and gave him the key. So that's why we like using Malcolm. Because one of those keys opened up that nigga's rusty lock.
Yes.
That nigga didn't know nothing just like everybody else didn't know nothing. But it was the messenger's key that unlocked this nigga's rusty lock. Because there's 17 million rusty locks. Malcolm ain't the only one. So when the messenger unlocked this nigga's rusty lock, Malcolm started shining like a light. Malcolm began to say things you never heard a Detroit Red kind of nigga say. Malcolm, the first thing Malcolm did, as Malcolm X, he submitted to black authority. He said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. He didn't do like other niggas do, like Bishop do, talking about some spirit that came and taught the nigga. All them teachings this nigga got, it was a spirit that came to this nigga. All them teachers Malcolm had, he said Elijah Muhammad taught us this. But this nigga, one of the rusty locks, he's saying the same thing but putting it in a Jewish spin. So we can see that the messenger's key. Unlock this nigga's rusty lock. When the messenger unlocked Malcolm's rusty lock and he was submitting to black authority, Malcolm began to shade. Malcolm became refined. Not only was Malcolm a fire, but he could attract other people to what he was saying. Because that's what fires do. Fires burn. Whatever is in the way, whatever the fire can touch, that's what a fire can burn. That's the teaching of the message. Whatever black man was in earshot of what he said, it touched him. Whether he accepted it or not. That was that fire from Elijah. So when we see this hypocrite turn hypocrite, he lost the fire. Nigga didn't have the fire no more. He started going back looking like Bishop. Nigga Malcolm Little was clean. This is something that Muslims notice that everybody else pretend like they don't know. The nigga started looking dirty like Bishop.
Yes, he did.
Nigga started wearing the dirty germ-catching beard after he knew
Yes.
that a beard is a germ catcher. But the messenger say a hypocrite goes back to his vomit.
Yes.
So a hypocrite will know that's vomit, but he'll go back to it. That's how much hypocrites hate the message. You know it's vomit. You the one threw it up, so you know it's vomit. But you hate the messenger so much, you go back to your own vomit. So the nigga went back to being Detroit Red. The nigga went back to lying. The nigga gonna tell the black man. Elijah Muhammad, he with teenage secretaries. Because when Malcolm Little accepted the teachings of the message, he was smarter than the rest of the dumb niggas. He knew the black man was dumb. He knew the black man didn't know nothing. He knew the black man say in the church, you shall know a tree by the fruit that it bears. If we believe that one thing in the church, we'd have never listened to Malcolm. We'd have said, didn't Elijah, you was Detroit Red, what? Elijah would taught you. How you gonna not turn around and condemn him? What, are you a pimp? Didn't you like white women? Didn't you conk your hair for Detroit Red? He went back being a dirty lying nigga.
That's right.
So he tell the black man that his old girlfriends, Evelyn and Lucille, was the messenger's girlfriend. That's a hypocrite. He go back and tell you that, but then he say, I follow Prophet Muhammad, the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad had a wife that was 9 years old. But Detroit Red is a dirty nigga like Bishop. He a dirty, filthy, lying nigga. He know that. But he know you don't know. This nigga Bishop, he know he copying the teachings of the message. He know you know it too. He know you like the teachings, because all you niggas copy. Every nigga that say he black, copying the teachings of the message. Every nigga that changed his name to Israel, copying off the message. Abba Bivens was still Bivens. Rabbi Matthews was still Matthews. Ford was still Ford. Cherry was still Cherry. Now these niggas is Israel now. Nigga, we see them keys, nigga. Every time you niggas walk, we hear them keys jangling in your pocket, nigga. Every time you walk. Every time you niggas open your mouth, we hear them keys jangling, nigga. So Malcolm was an old thief. He went back to being a pimp. He went back to being a dirty nigga.
Yes.
But the message, he said, God is with me. He said that's the one thing Malcolm forgot about. So that's what all the hypocrites forget. They forget about Allah. The messenger said, now this, one of the things the messenger said that changed my Islam. Because the things the messenger say, like he wouldn't say that unless God told him that. You don't just say it. One time I was listening to the messenger. He was talking about people who copy off him. He said the black man can have the truth that will free our people. You could take everything I'm saying. You could take my programs, put it in your thing, but he said for lying with you, you won't be successful. That's the one thing everybody forget. So you got a nigga like Bishop who can take the teachings of the messenger. He can attract the black man, but he don't have that fire. That nigga like when you watch The Last Dragon. Sure enough was bad until Bruce Leroy got a hold up. So he started at the end, he still had a little bit of spark in his hands. He was trying to spark it. It wouldn't spark the same. Because Bruce Leroy was wearing that nigga out. That's how Bishop is. When you take the messenger's flame and you add it to your stuff, it's like when you had a barbecue and the coals and you sticking it like, come on, flame. That's how Bishop is. He only attract another more dumb, dirty niggas like him. That's all he do. The messenger attracted all 17 million. He changed what we thought about ourselves. He changed what we thought about the devil. And he changed what we thought about God. All black people know the black man is God. That ain't so hard to say today. The black man know the black man is the original man. That ain't so hard to say now. The black man know the white man is a race of devils. So now when this nigga take it and put it in that Israelite, it don't have the same fire that the messenger had. Because the messenger got his fire from God. God gave it to him. That's the thing. There's a difference between stealing a hearing and Allah teaching. This nigga stealing a hearing. I didn't teach this nigga. That's why when we ask these niggas, show us your God. Show us when your God came to search for the black man. Show us what your God taught to elevate the black man. Because when you see Malcolm, he was elevated. He was in prison. But when you heard Malcolm talk, you wouldn't even believe he was an ex-felon, ex-crook. Malcolm could debate with scholars simply off the messenger. These is one of the things that the messenger taught her. He said, I got the keys. He told us that plain. I got the keys for 17 million. Not just a key. I got the keys for 17 million. So everybody who you hear that kind of tickles your brain using the keys. So let's end it on this note. Because I want to show everybody how the messenger was the one when he would talk. Let the black man know that God came. Because we didn't understand that God was coming. We act like we believe it now. But we didn't know it till the messenger told us. So the messenger in the December 22nd, 1956 Pittsburgh carrier. It says the coming of Allah. Then the first sentence, messenger says the reality of God. I have been and am still trying to make clear to you the reality of God. That's one of the keys. So this is the messenger in the 50s talking about God coming. Then we got another article. This time, June 1st, 1957. Pittsburgh Carrier. It's called Unity. Islam, a unifying religion, the salvation for every so-called Negro of America. That's the message. Wasn't nobody telling us that God gave them no salvation for the black, but the messenger did. That's one of the keys. The salvation for the black man is Islam. Yes. So the messenger. He says, who is with me to unite my people in America that are not afraid? He said, I am assured on one. That is Allah, God, who came in the person of the most honorable Master W.F. Muhammad, the great Mahdi, the restorer, the savior, the only friend of we, the lost found members of the tribe of Shabazz. Notice the messenger didn't say the tribes of Israel. He said the tribes of Shabazz. Because the tribes of Israel is a new race of people on the planet. Are people who will fight with God. We never had them kind of people on the planet. The original man never fought with God. He submitted with God. But the new people, they fight with God. God give them what's true and right and they add lies to it. God send a warner and they kill them. That's something new. So the messenger said the white man added lies to the Bible. He made us to think that God's enemies was his people and that God's people was his enemies. So we always thought that the black man wasn't nothing but the white man. Well, he a Jew. That means he God's chosen people. But the messenger say no. God came to the black man. That's why I like the messenger's teaching so much. What he said was so strange. Anytime you go to these newspapers and Google it, and you read how people was so shocked at how, or what the messenger was saying. You got a man this black, this confident, talking about God came to niggas? The nigga real confident about that. These other niggas is tiptoeing and scared and scratching. But this nigga, J.B. Stoner said, this nigga, he ain't like the rest of them niggas. This a different kind of nigga, this Elijah Muhammad. He got confidence. He stand before the world and said, God came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Not only do he do it here in America, he go tell them people in Mecca. Messenger wrote them a letter. He said the people in Mecca didn't give me my mission. He said the people in Mecca, they can't stop me no more than they could stop Moses. No more than they could stop Jesus. Say ain't nobody can stop me, not even the devil. Little old Elijah. So little old Elijah, once again, this time this is in the Chicago Tribune. It says black Muslims seek Negro nation in the U.S. The messenger said ever since landing of our fathers as slaves of the American devils, we have been spiritually blind. The slave masters killed off our first parents after they gave birth to their first children, which made it easy for the devils to rob our parents of the knowledge of self. Because after killing off the mothers and fathers, the young had no teachers of their own kind since 1555, until the coming of God in 1930. One thing I heard Malcolm X say one time, because I like listening to Malcolm, I like listening to Farrakhan and Muhammad Ali when they was with the messenger. They was really fireballs. So I heard Malcolm say one time, he was talking about how confident the messenger was. He said the messenger is a wise and skilled leader. He said he talking to the sheep and he's teaching the sheep in front of the wolf. He said we never think about that because sheep have the power to devour the wolf. That's what the sheep or the wolf got the power to do. But he said the messenger is such a shepherd that he can teach the destruction of the wolf in front of the wolf while teaching the sheep at the same time, and the sheep stay safe. The wolf can't do nothing to the sheep. I was like, wow, never thought of that. The messenger teaching us the white man is a race of devils in his face. While he got hypocrites in the nation. While he got people trying to kill him. While he had people bombing his temples or raiding his temples. He going to jail. He on the run. But he was able as a shepherd to teach the sheep in front of the wolf. We never saw the wolf challenge the message. We never saw the wolf give a good argument against what he was saying. We just saw the wolf with his tail tucked between his legs. So the messenger, as a shepherd, teaching the sheep in front of the wolf. A lot of jealous niggas saw the message. So now that the messenger has completely defeated and crushed the wolf, to where the wolf don't have no more fight against the truth. Now you got dirty niggas like Bishop. Now you want to act like he the shepherd. You got hypocrites like Farrakhan. Want to act like he the shepherd. Where was they at in the 30s? Where was they at in the 40s and the 50s? When the white man was an active wolf. Just as active as Master Farad Muhammad was, the white man was an active wolf. Going to and fro. But now the white man got his tail tucked between his legs. He don't even fight the truth no more. He let anybody who want to tell the truth just tell it. White man feel like God done already came. God done raised the messenger. We hated the nigga at first. But we began to admire Elijah. We know what we did to his people. We know how afraid these niggas was. We know how dumb these niggas was. We know how these niggas couldn't unite. Niggas couldn't do nothing for self. But when we seen Elijah, we saw him unite these dumb niggas. Teach dumb niggas how to own businesses. Take dumb niggas from the prison and make them ministers where they can come to our best schools, Ivy League school, Yale, Princeton, Harvard, Michigan State, Columbia. Whatever the white man had, the messenger had some form. So that hate turned to admiration. So the messenger said, just like it was said about Jesus, it said that God would make Jesus' enemies his footstool. He said, I wasn't talking about Jesus. He said, I was talking about me. The white man became the messenger's footstool. So in the end of the messenger's life, white people started speaking up for the messenger. White bankers would come to the messenger's dinners. This one white banker, this is my conclusion. He came to a dinner for the messenger. He said, now look, y'all, a lot of stuff said about these Muslims. They be talking about these Muslims like they just aggressive and they violent. He said the Muslims are not violent. He said they are very peaceful people. He said they only fight when people attack them. And he said they do a good job of a white banker. He said some of my white friends discouraged me when I first started doing business with the Muslims. But he said one thing I can say about the Muslims, they pay their bills. He said they pay them on time. I love doing business with the Muslims. You had a black man in the government. He said these Muslims, they got it on the ball. He said, but the one thing I hope they do, he said, I hope they document it so they can show the rest of us. You had the National Black Businessman in New York, 1974. They allowed the messenger's national representative to be the keynote speaker at a business thing, National Black Business. So the people, the head of this business organization, this National Black Business now, they say for years, we've been watching Elijah Muhammad. He said we never invited them to come to be no keynote speaker. He said, but all the years we've been watching Elijah Muhammad, he said he doing what we all been trying to do. He been doing it. And he has become a significant economic force in the black community. That was the messenger. He had the 17 million keys. He didn't just have the keys with the teachings. He had the keys to business. He had the keys to being civilized. He had the keys to being clean. He had the keys to fighting and whooping niggas' heads. He had all kind of keys. But he had the keys to unlock 17 million rusty locks. He had them keys because God gave him the keys. That God we talking about came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad, July 4th, 1930. Well, brothers and sisters, we don't want to prolong the time. So I leave you as I came in the Nation of Islam's greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
Enjoying the show? Help keep us on the air. 313-371-7033. That's 313-371-7033 to make a donation.
Brothers and sisters, we rise for prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Soul Master's Day of Judgment in which we now live. He alone do we serve, and he alone seeks for thine help and aid. O Allah, please guide us on the right path, path of those upon whom thou spell thy favors, not on the path of those upon whom thy wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. Say he Allah is one God. Allah is he of whom nothing is independent, but upon whom we all depend. He begetteth not, nor is he begotten, there is none like him. And I bear witness that none deserve to be served, worship, or praise besides Allah, who came in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And I bear witness that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is thy true servant and last apostle. Ameen. Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us not to do anything to anyone that we wouldn't have done it to ourselves and treat everybody right, even the devil. Assalamu alaikum.